Welcome to This Is Guyana. It's a wonderful Thursday afternoon right here in the Garden City. And we're right here at the studios at 98.1. And it's such a pleasure to have you joining us. Howdy! What going on? What's up? This is Guyana. I'm Russel Lancaster. I'm going to be your host for the next, just about 50 minutes. We're going all the way up till 7 o'clock. And of course, today we're going to be featuring some really interesting music. Remember last week we had Derry Atkins on the program. He was talking about finding a Guyanese sound. Today we thought we'd share with you some of the work that has come out of one of our very first artists trying to forge such a sound. His name is Bill Rogers. So today we're going to be listening to Bill Rogers music on This Is Guyana. Of course, I must mention that the program is put together by our curator, the curator of Gtmemoirs, Damien Lewis, and he's been really searching for all the kinds of stuff that we can bring to you that really talks about what Guyanese music is all about.
These are the days to economize, so listen attentively to BG body. It's based on the subject of economy. The name of Guyana will live in history. Why? Because we're the founder of body. Housewives learn a mode of economy since the invention of body. Bill Rogers, the fellow who makes no error, with no spelling bars and analyzes body. B-H-A-G-E-E is body. It's the name of a caterpillar bush, a common noun and a neuter gender, a present tense and a singular number. When I sing, I leave men to wonder. Why? Because I don't make a blunder. And here I am as a Baji composer. Bring any intruder, I'll make them surrender. Bill Rogers, tell the young lady, tell them how to cook this body. Here they are waiting so patiently to hear how you'll cook this body. 5 cents of the caterpillar bush. You buy a penny coconut oil. Bond the coconut oil before you use it. This is what the young ladies admire. After I tell you, you needn't inquire. Baji's a thing that's cooked with slow fire. Don't make mistake and throw any water. For Baji is a thing that's bring its own water. You take a big brick and then you put it on the cover to prevent the Baji from boiling over. Then the Baji get brown and the ice too down. It's all set and ready for human consumption. There was once a coolie man who named Malal Bihari, a living with a coolie girl, she name was Suki. He told her to cook this rice and bhaji. She disobeyed his orders and she cooked dal curry. She get the neemak, she get the piyaj, she get the aloo, grind the masala, she get the mutchori, she get the chingari, and she cooked the dal bat and the dal curry. When he came home with his friends and company, preparing to eat his rice and bhaji, expressing his language in deep Hindustani. To my saga jagamari kuyinahi, tum jai gurmaina jake hai, then he offered dance and turned to the memory.
How you like that one? That one's called BG Baji, and if you know what Baji is, I mean, obviously, if you're living in Guyana, you know what Baji is. Baji is Kalaloo, he's called Kalaloo, and of course, the song was talking about how to cook Baji. That is what Bill Rogers was doing. He was trying to explain the Guyanese experience using music. And let me tell you a little bit about Bill Rogers. Obviously, our music, the music of Guyana, the kinds of music that we have chosen to create off of our own are a mixture of many influences. Obviously, the Amerindians were here first, and then the Europeans came, brought the Africans. Then during indentureship, the Indians, the Chinese, and the Portuguese came. But then we are also influenced by the fact that we are next door to Suriname, which is Dutch, and Venezuela, which is Spanish, and Brazil, which is Portuguese. So you can imagine all these influences interacting with each other because people cross borders, go different places, hear different things, and then they come back and they bring in. And we were also, of course, connected with the rest of the Caribbean, hence our very close association with things like reggae and soca, because although we consider those things kind of almost our own, those things originated in other countries and came to Ghana because of our very close association with them. If you remember on our last show, music educator Derry Atkins was saying that we should try to play 100% Guyanese music. But really and truly, the music that we are calling intrinsically Guyanese is music that has been influenced by other cultures. So today we are hearing some of the music that really came out of Guyana. And Bill Rogers is a real example of what could possibly be done. And I'm just saying that he did this way back in the 1920s. This is 2016. So obviously this kind of music has got to be updated if we're going to make it more relevant for how we live today. But listen to this one again.
I met an old woman selling, and I wanted something to eat. I say I was going to put a bit in she way, but I take back when I meet. I thought she had bananas, orange or pears, what was nothing that I need. But when I asked the old woman what she was selling, she said she was selling weed. She had she coat tie up over she waist and was stepping along with grace. She had on a pair of old clogs on her feet and was wriggling down the street. Just then she started to name the different kind of weeds, and I really was more than glad. But I can't remember all that she called, but these were a few she had. Man piaba, woman piaba, tan fall back and lemongrass, mini root, gully root, granny backbone, bitter tally, lime leaf and turo, coolie bitters, Corilla bush, platter the earth and ironweed, sweet broom, full-tongue, wild daisy, sweet sage and even toyo. She had catmint, shiny mint, soldier rod, pasture lana and cowfoot bush, milkweed, fitweed, bovine, ants bush, bishop cap and rock balsam, Suriname bitters, wild green tea, tree finger and warm bush. Said grass, barn grass, carry throw bush, sweet bitters and also tisane. She had cassava, mama, oku, piaba, Jacob's ladder and pitty guana, finger bush, job, stare, pitty bay, jumbie, basil and white clary, bile bush, wild cane, duckweed and seed, warra bitters and wild grey root. She even had them to a certain bush, but there's in the skull, puss in boots. Hear how much bush she had, and then dumb till I couldn't even talk. She started to call from Camp Street corner, and never stopped till she reached Orange Walk. The woman had me so surprised that I didn't know what to do. That a girl come and give me a puff in me eye, and I didn't even know was who. Sweet broom, sweet Sage and lemongrass, I eat them good for making tea. Oh well, here's a grass and wild daisy, them good to cool the body. The woman tongue was even listed, and she was calling out all the time. She even had a little canwa eye, and the other that left was blind. She had tanker bitters, pomegranate bark, hunger cane, bay leaf, and young busy, young grapevine, bab pain, sing a nettle, go for more bush and broadleaf thyme, Myanmar seed and evergreen leaf, bitter fence, bitter just like gall. That's a doodle quashy bitters and Hannibal flower, sick bitters, but not them tall. She had bitter gumma, Potagi Bumba, Conga Lana and Velva Clap Broom, Sarsaparilla, Wild Sumato, Soursop Leaf and half a bit weed, Yura Valley, Sweet Mint Polka Bush, White Clary and Christmas Bush, Action Sand Bitters and even Monkey Ladder, and all the rest you may need. She had Kuza Maho, Paje, Maze, Mari, Sukoya Cure and Bitura, Cruda bush, black sage, mahogany leaf, fiddlewood and calamel flower, beech leaf and Lucas bush, bread nut leaf, jumpy bobby and singing toe. She had bucue leaves, old milk bush, gold jumper and wild mango. She had pap bush, elder bush, black pepper bush, French toyo, coral and capadula, tamarind leaf, money bush, soda parsley, pumpkin blossom and even devil doer, neem and conga, pumpkin galore, physic nut and lily root. In fact, the only bush that she didn't got was bush in the everyday suit.
All right, so what do you think of that one? That one is called the Weed Song. And again, I mean, we know about bush medicine in Guyana. Since you're growing up, you know, your parents is give bush to drink. You don't really know what they're in the bush. You just know that there's throw a couple things in a pot and they boil it up and then they say, well, you got to drink this. They ain't care whether you like the taste or not. They tell you got to drink bush. So a very strong tradition in Guyana, and this is going all the way back to the Amerindians, was the use of natural remedies for the physical body. And coming out of the African tradition and the Indian traditions, there were people that would go around literally and sell bush medicine. Even now you could go into the market and you can find people selling different types of bush. That was what this song was about, and it's called the Weed Song. And it's not talking about weed as we just talk about weed today, right? This is about the bushes that you would normally use for bush medicine. Bill Rogers, as you can see, really understood the society that he was living in, but he did some really important things as well. First of all, he created this genre called Shanto, which is related to both calypso and mento music. It became a major part of early popular music through its use in Guyana at the vaudeville shows. Now, the vaudeville shows were shows that were held at places like the Metropole Cinema. You asked the cinema. You would go to the cinema to see not a movie, but a show where different performers would come together, dancing, singing, playing music, and they used to call them vaudeville shows. It was like a concert, different kinds of performances coming together, and it was considered kind of, you know, people of a certain type did not go to vaudeville shows. The lower classes went to vaudeville shows. So it kind of had some risque things going on in it. The women would dance in a way that is, you know, sexually provocative and stuff like that. So what you had coming out was this was part of a certain aspect of the culture that was experienced by different people. Songs are usually topical and lighthearted and often accompanied by the guitar. So Bill Rogers was the person who started this format called Shanto, which he said was a very Guyanese form of music. And more importantly, he got the opportunity to go abroad and to record his music. He was the first person out of the Caribbean that got the opportunity to go to New York to record his music. And this was done since 1924. So just imagine, way back in 1924, he was doing stuff that was taking the Guyanese name out into the international scene. So he had a chance to travel. He went to the UK, he went to the United States, and he went, of course, to the Caribbean. One of the things he managed to do is to go to Trinidad, perform in the Calypso competition back then, and win the competition. So he was really a very interesting Guyanese performer. But listen to this one, it's called Sightseeing in the UK.
Bill Rogers will stay as a resident in the UK. Bill Rogers will stay as a resident in the UK. Tell them how I am living so fine. Nothing at all to disturb my mind. Tell them by cable and radio I'm in the UK blasting out me Shanto. Take the bus or tram, go down to Buckingham. You won't be out of bounds, viewing the palace grounds. In winter, summer, autumn or spring, you just can't help admiring the palace guards always on patrol, a traditional duty from the days of old. But you must pay a call to the Albert Hall, and there you will see the charm of history. It's the center of British culture, standing up like a giant structure. Anybody bound to feel gay, going around sightseeing in the UK. Well, sitting in the sun at Lord's and Wimbledon, my admiration went to the Houses of Parliament. Take a walk by Trafalgar Square, Lord Nelson's statue is standing there. From there walk through Piccadilly, all the time sightseeing in London City. About 50 times I lost by Strand and Charing Cross, then by Battersea Park I even lost one night when it was dark. St. Paul's will live in my memory, the Bank of England and White City. That's why Bill Rogers feels so gay, going around sightseeing in the UK.
That's right. How you like that one? That was him traveling abroad. But let's get back to who he was really. His name was Augustus Hines. And of course, we know that his stage name was Bill Rogers. He was born in 1906 in what was then British Guyana. And he was a very prolific songwriter. And his music focused on the working class, who was his target audience. He wrote for them and he wrote about them. His first broadcast on the local airwaves is in 1929. It was the first time that the Weed song was broadcast on the local airwaves. And he also added, around this time, magic to his repertoire. In 1934, he created another first. He sailed to America and recorded 34 songs at the RCA Bluebird record label. And that was the largest recording company in the Western Hemisphere at the time. So I want us to now come back a little bit about him talking about living in Guyana. I mean, you know, you get to the point where you're going out with a young lady and them thing and you want to take you to dinner and you know you ain't got too much money, but you're hoping and against hope that she don't ask for too much so you won't be embarrassed. Well, this next song talks about that experience. It's called 15 Cent Sweetheart. Bill Rogers for you.
ever since a courting, me and the sweetheart, we never yet row. So I wanted to celebrate my good luck, but I just didn't really know how. So I took her along to a restaurant to give her a little treat. She told me she wasn't hungry, but just listen to the things she eats. 4 plates of rice, she called for that twice, with roast pork and ice fish stew. A bowl of metterty with hearts of curry and a nice little dish of poo-poo. 6 breadfruit with the salad to boot. Her appetite was immense. But when she ordered 4 bread, I thought I would have dead, cause I only had 15 cents. Just then I started to play big and asked her what she would like to drink. And she said, "Billy boy, you treat me so nice that I hardly know what to think. And knowing nowadays that the time's so hard and you ain't working nowhere, I don't want to put you in too much expense, cause you mightn't have enough to pay." So she only drank 2 quarts of rum before I turned round. She emptied 2 flasks of gin, along with whiskey, brandy, ale, beer and stout. I can't tell you who the woman put it in. Lemonade, no use to learn them and wine. She guts was just like a trench. But when she called for some more, I fall down on the floor, cause I only had 15 cents. Well, to finish up with this delicate girl, she cleaned out an ice cream can. And she said, "Billy boy, I can talk about you, for you really a nice young man. And the next time we going on a spree like this, I'm going to bring my whole family around. So then I try to pay the barman 15 cents, but just listen to what was done. Oh, he bust up my nose, he tear down my clothes, he iced me and sweep the floor. My mouth was a size, my ears and my eyes, and he kicked me clean through the door. He hold me by my throat and lift me by my coat and dash me over the fence. And he said another night you won't get off so light when you only bring 15 cents.
Growing up in Georgetown, I remember on Regent Street there was a shop called Betty Black Pudding. And that was the most popular black pudding shop at the time. I mean, right now we don't really have like a shop dedicated just to selling black pudding. But in those days, black pudding and sauce was a thing that used to happen every week. Every week you could be sure on a Saturday afternoon, you used to get black pudding and sauce. If you go to liquor restaurants, they generally used to have black pudding and sauce on the menu. And there would be the itinerant walkers who would go around and sell with their basket. You could get a man on the street and find he got black pudding and sauce selling. So listen to this one. It's called Jimmy Black Pudding and Sauce. And of course, the singer is, as I said this afternoon, Bill Rogers.
Night I went down Camp Street just for a preliminary walk. As I reached the corner of Camp and Rob, I met a friend and we began to talk. But when I cast my eyes a little further on, my attention was drawn right there. And some motor cars and cycles and people up and down in the square. I noticed a gas pipe down in a yard and a big fat cop at the gate. I thought he was there as special guard to control the crowd cause it's late. But a kind fella told the credits to me and I proved that it ain't no lie. It was Jimmy Black Pudding and Sauce that big crowd been there that night to buy. Domestic servants, housemaids and butlers were hustling down with the platter. This and the edge of boys and the edge of girls drinking the black pudding water. Sauce with seasoning, cucumbers and salad, the way how the thing so sweet. that all of them want is three cloaks and cloaks when there for the Saturday night treat. Friends, I'm not ashamed to tell you that night I joined the Blackwood crew. They had coffee, only got black and shiny, were buying and eating too. It was a hustle and a bustle and a rustle and a tussle that I couldn't do nothing but laugh. It was just like Bennington Market on a Sunday when Bangor Mary setting off. Such a thing shouldn't be eaten all about, but friends, I would tell you no lie. That if you want black pudding for melt in your mouth, you can get in Rock Street for buy. They even got some joints that spread every day night from mantle in their hand. And pudding and sauce they would pack up inside and walls out down the dam. The accommodation that be a box on the ground and a tub of water to wash hand. I take a soap and a breakfast table, a little white towel, new brand. Weekly customers, monthly customers that make the black pudding jump. And bus conductors and market chauffeurs that be so much that you can't even count. Sanitary inspectors, doctors and lawyers that buy the pudding by the half yard. They even that pudding for these customers, the kettles and even horse yard. And the south water just being a platter to recover them when they're sweet. And you can call at the back no matter what o'clock, a Jimmy Map in Rock Street. But now he is gone to the great beyond, no more to return, but memories live on. No one can deny, not even your spouse, that Jimmy used to make the best black pudding and sauce. I say this black pudding industry should carry on indefinitely. Though a friend told me conscientiously, this is a certainty. He said you go round Norton Street near to the parlor, the crowd down there is a wow. Like since the passing of Jimmy, Betty take over now that black pudding. Look how they buy it. Betty take over now. Sizing. Betty take over now. Sizing. Betty take over now. Listen now. Betty take over now. Follow the crowd. Betty take over now. Walk up your mouth. Betty take over now. Carry the shout. Betty take over now. Go. Betty take over now. The Shanto. Betty take over now. Betty take over now. Carry the crowd. Betty take over now. Betty take over now. Betty take over now.
I think you're beginning to get an understanding of the style of Bill Rogers. Now, I want you to think of essentially how a musician makes his money in an environment where people don't have a lot of disposable income. Way back in the day, they were suffering from pretty much the same kinds of problems. And I'll explain what I mean by that. It's never been easy for musicians to make a lot of money in Guyana. So what did he do? He decided that he would become a promoter as well. So he started promoting his own shows and inviting other artists to come and perform on his shows with him. And he created a means of earning a living for himself through both writing music and promoting music and going and recording music. So he essentially took over the entire role of crafting a space for himself that would earn him a living through his music. I want you to listen to this one. It's called Old Rubbish Man.
That old rubbish is good to keep. And all of the best you can find the bundles and baskets by the heap. Really old this, that, and wonder what not. What it is for, I don't know. It only harbours scorpion, Santa Fe, cockroach, snakes, and crapo. But a lot of people then realize that with all this rubbish it still can sell. All you gotta do is to get a good yard and a big old rusty bell. Then keep up on the roadway corner and spread it out on a sheet with a flat taken a old cock like the man in Lombard Street. Then old door locks, old door bolts, rusty old keys and old hard shoes, old chisels, spanners and punches, bolts and washers, nuts and screws, lock umbrella wire, and pieces of motor tire. Old saw handles, rubber files and padlocks that can't be used. Old trunk handles, old buckle heads, old iron pipes and old cog wheels, old nut handles, blocks and tackles, hinges and staples and magnet steel. Pieces of wire springs and bottom old violin string. Old lamp burners, old bed chargers, old toes of machine wheels. Irons and a hungry yard and more rubbish than a rubbish yard. Back slaughtering reduction by far, for he got a real rubbish mart. He got the rubbish on a canvas in front and a big old bell in his hand. Them knock old money wrong in neck. He look like a obeah man. He got some old things that I never seen nowhere in my life before. If you want anything, no matter what, you can get it there to be sure. But if you got it there hard so long that it's selling, just like overnight tripe. And the only thing left for him to sell is on the wrong tourist pipe. Just rotten their heart, rotten their foot, old fat cocks and butter box beans, ice cream pitchers, bloods and mats, old fat bars and cracked seed, leathers and tags, new jackets neck with old bags, old tongue lifters, breakers, scissors, old knives and Myanmar seeds, old hammers, old corkscrews, old coffee mills and shoemaker lath, old pot handles, pickers, scrappinell, iron, copper, lead and brass, rusty old razor blades, old fork shovels and spades, old screwdrivers, bicycle bearings and crack martins, buying glass, electric car tenders, old motor horns, old railway line and steamboat wheels, pieces of canvas, bags and twine, anchors and chains and old truck wheels, brake pads and pumps up the ball, did a cell phone, each buttons and all, old rat trap, old tools and guns, and break up old cotton rings, old long broom handles, empty shot and bottles, break up lamp chimney and butter blanc with coffee pot covers, rusty bag needles, pieces of tin and half a brick, pieces of electric wire, looking glass that pass through fire, traction devil door and many other things, and break up old walking sticks.
And of course, like all artists, when you're starting off, you sing other people's music first, and then you start doing your music. So you get people to kind of connect with you first from what they know, and then you bring into them things that they don't really know. And Bill Rogers was the same like all the rest. He used to sing back some of the folk songs, some of the Guyanese folk songs. And there was a particular song about the fact that the British soldiers were in Guyana. And when the British soldiers came, of course, they struck up relationships with women here. And then they would leave the women and, and this song that you're going to listen to now is really a little take on that whole situation where they would take up with a woman here, and then when their time was up, they would be gone, and the child would be left fatherless. So the song named Daddy Gone to Coven John.
Please tell me where Daddy gone. Daddy got the home and John. Daddy dress up in the all-in-one.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Straight from the Obeah man down the one.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Search for baby, search for an arm.
Daddy got the Bob and John. Daddy got the Bob and John.
All over town it's a human cry.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Everybody wondering why.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Contradiction I defy.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Just like this Sputnik up in the sky.
Daddy got the Bob and John. Daddy got the Bob and John. Daddy got the Bob and John.
People, this is a positive fact.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
One night just about 10 o'clock.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Daddy caught his wife in the act.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Oh, she bite the up in the back.
Daddy got the Bob and John. Daddy got the Bob and John. Daddy got the Bob and John.
Daddy only now realize.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
He never miss the water till the well runs dry.
Daddy got the Bob and
And
John.
as long as the green bees are in the hive,
Daddy got the Bob and John.
things will be better as long as he's alive.
Daddy got the Bob and John. Daddy got the Bob and John. Daddy got the Bob and John.
Please tell me where Daddy gone.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Daddy's dressed up in the all-in-one.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Straight from the Obeah man down the one.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Daddy gone running down the dam.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Oh, poor Daddy one.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Oh, Daddy gone, Daddy gone. Oh, Daddy going, going, gone.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
Oh, Daddy gone, gone, gone.
Daddy got the Bob and John.
As we said, Bill Rogers was really a social commentator, and what he was looking at is what was going on in the society at the time. And I remember we were a sugar-producing society. Everything came out of the sugar industry. People's jobs were largely connected to the sugar industry in one way or another. Even the ancillary jobs, the ones on the outside, fed into what was happening in the sugar industry. And then, of course, at some points or other, you had problems when you couldn't produce enough sugar. Or they were exporting the sugar abroad, and what was left was not really of the best quality. But that being said, the cost of sugar kept going up. And in this song, he talks about that. This is called Sugar Cents a Pound.
Some time ago, a schooner went down in the Demerara River. I hear it was consigned to Booker and was full of dark crystal sugar. It was a Christmas treat for all the wharf rats down on the Arquart selling. For you will think they had got the job to do the salvaging. The first step, the sugar that they dive up was good, and the second was salt and sweet. The third step was muddy, and they burst the bag and sun it in Water Street. And a certain young fella load up the ballahu with so much of the people's sugar that the weight was too heavy, and it sinks the ballahu just how it had sunk the schooner. Chocopah had a boatload at Kingston, coke up, partly giving away.
selling a basket for 4 cents, a bucket for 3, but he was taking whatever you pay. Sweet boy Jinx had his own donkey cart, selling all round the town. But dog had a scale and went from yard to yard, selling sugar at a cent a pound. The news and take no time to spread like wildfire all around, that the women begin to pour from all about Pakudam and Newtown. For everyone wanted to have a shy at the sugar that was giving away, that some mothers wouldn't even send their children to school on that great letter day. It was a great excitement all over the town. Everybody tried their utmost endeavor to buy the cheap sugar all around. A woman buy 5 big baskets full, and in the last trip then she remember that she didn't even find the ball as yet, and the money did done for sugar. So man try and get rid of what they had and went back to get some more. Suji Muji sold out by the bucket, assisted by Moggy Joe. Sanga Bango and Ballis had a boatload at big market, swapping for provision and fright. Then up steps the police and watch it away with the fire brigade hose pipe. Well, that was a day of sorrows for all the shopkeepers, for the war press does spray up and all night and day that the river would swallow more schooners. They don't even regard the lives of the poor sailormen who might go down, as long as they could run through the tongue and shout, sugar selling at a cent a pound.
Well, I trust you've been enjoying the music today. It's a little different from what we normally listen to, but I think it was important to kind of start us in the direction of thinking about what we could be doing that could become intrinsically Guyanese. A sound like soca or reggae that is just ours and that people can relate to us and say, yes, this is Guyanese music. Of course, one of the first people to really try to do that was this man that we've been listening to this afternoon, Bill Rogers. Augustus Hines is his real name, but of course he would call himself on stage Bill Rogers, and now he's got his son, the young Bill Rogers, who's also been doing some really interesting work and making a name for himself as well. And the reason that we are even doing this is that we want to generate a conversation about how do we find a way of expressing ourselves that is truly cultural and reflects who we are. Of course, today I had a real good time playing it for you and listening again to some of these songs. And I must thank Damien Lewis, who is the curator of Gtmemoirs, for putting all of this together, for coming up with the information, for finding the songs, and for giving us a chance to listen to them once again, which, of course, we don't really get a chance to do very often. Now, you can find us, Gtmemoirs, gtmemoirs.com, and we are on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Gtmemoirs. We're going to be going out now, so I want to say thank you for staying with me for this, for the duration of this program. And, of course, I look forward to hearing and seeing from you next Thursday. And we're going to be going out on a little bit of comedy. This one is called Ball-Plated Emily.
Trouble with a girl named Emily. One night I took her home from a spree. Big trouble with a girl named Emily. One night I took her home from a spree. Oh, what an experience that night. I was nearly halfway with a fright. Seeing the most peculiar disguise. That night I was really victimized. So I ball out,
Emily, please tell me, Candy, what kind of human you be?
hear me blasting.
Emily, please tell me, Candy, what kind of human you be?
The very first thing I sat down on the couch when Emily attempted to blow the lamp out. I object to the place being in darkness, so she then took off her blend miller glasses. I noticed a cockeye on her speckled face. Top and bottom false, the two clumsy plates. She bottom lip hanging down, and the woman dribbling out on the ground. So I ball out,
Emily,
ballerina shoe, then a cork foot and a false and drop off too. I was trembling with fear from what I saw. Oh, lost, and nearly ball out for murder. Another thing that had me so amazed, she too dark, sticking out like razor blades. I didn't need glasses to see the sight of ball-plated Emily, so I ball up.
Emily, always tell me, Candy, what kind of human you be? Emily, always tell me, Candy, what kind of human you be?
Began to become more suspicious. To see such a display was ridiculous. She was deaf and all under heavy disguise as a ghost exhibition. She would win a prize. My story might sound impossible, but her makeup is inexpressible. That night I nearly burst out a scream when I took home one third of a human being. Hear me blasting,
Emily, always tell me, Candy, what kind of human you be?
Hear me blasting,
Emily, always tell me, Candy, what kind of human you be? She sat down on the bed and started to cry. Just then I noticed she had on a glass eye. You can imagine just how the mopsy feel when she confessed 3 of her rapes were out of steel. A false nose and a broken shoulder blade, like she was in Japan during the atomic raid. When she falls, she'll drop off, that was misery. To see the sight of ball-plated Emily, so I ball out. Emily, always tell me, Candy, what kind of human you be? Emily, always tell me, Candy, what kind of human you be?
Welcome to This Is Guyana.